now because you can't lock down Florida and California. The gift of hindsight, you sit there and you're like, well, you obviously didn't get the right 20 guys from your state, but at the time maybe you felt that you were getting the right 20 guys from the state. And that's not to say that necessarily SC is going out and landing the top 20 guys that it wants to land, because Clay Helton's tenure there is tenuous at best, and there's just a lot going on in terms of that. And then with the state of Florida, just the sheer number of kids there, once again, it's a case of hindsight, and you can't get them all. So it's a difficult proposition, because it's a lot easier, I think, for like Ohio State to lock Ohio down, because you're going to have 4 to 6 of your top guys that are going to be from Ohio. Then you're going to have a middle section, and then you've got a section that is there that kind of, replenishes a lot of Big Ten teams, replenishes Cincinnati, Kentucky, some programs like that. So when you're only having to sit there and focus maybe on really being dialed in on 15, 20 players at the beginning of a cycle, I'm talking 2 years out, your hit rate's going to be a lot higher than SC is going to be in California, or any of the big 3, 4, 5, however you want to designate the power structure in the state of Florida these days, is going to be there just due to sheer numbers. So, I don't think that there's any one thing that's necessarily contributing to it. I mean, I got an idea. SC, win some games. FSU, win some games. Show that you can develop players. I mean, all of that stuff. But that's going to be true at any school in terms of recruiting any territory. That's not a unique issue that you're running into in trying to protect your home turf. Maybe you just have to do a little bit better job of evaluation, but so much of that is skewed until you sit there and you look back at what hindsight tells you after the fact.
I just think there's the winning is a huge aspect of that, and USC has fallen off and FSU has fallen off, and there are so many great places to play now. I mean, you're seeing Oklahoma goes into Florida every year and gets a couple of kids, and they got they may have 2 of the top Florida kids in 2023 by the end of the cycle. And there's just so many places to go now, and the world is so much more open to these guys, and they're seeing more, and there's so much more money involved in terms of the facilities and things like that. So there's just different opportunities, and you can go farther from home. And really, you look at the Florida kids, and like the Miami kids look to stay in Miami, but not necessarily any other kids. If they do, it's, that's their choice. It's just like there's no real region anymore where it's hard to get these guys to leave. And so there's, that's the fault of the schools, I think, in not maintaining the level that they once had, which Ohio State has been able to do. And you have no in-state competition there. And, it's just what you do. And still Ohio State is having trouble, locking up Lorenzo, Sonny Styles in 2023. And so you can still, with the perfect storm coming on at near schools or other schools, they can still come in and take Ohio's best. And we've seen, it doesn't always happen, but it has happened. And so even Ohio and Ohio State, there's no fence around it. But then once you get out to California, Texas, Florida, there's, you just think it's almost herding cats with, fences that have big holes in them. You can't keep everybody inside. They're going to get out.
Yeah. In Texas with Tom Herman, it didn't work out. And as we said, I joked, last week or the week before, I didn't know who the Texas coach was because they've been through so many of them since Mac Brown, because nobody can succeed in recruiting Texas and keeping the best players there to contend. And I think that's the big thing. And I think it's endemic of what's happened with USC and UCLA and Florida State and Miami, and there's just cracks in the wall in all these places. And Ohio State's been one of the main exploiters of it. When you look at some of the great players out of Texas that the Buckeyes have gotten, like J.K. Dobbins and Quinn Ewers coming up and different guys over the years, it all just kind of works out. So to my way of thinking, it's a relationship business, and Ohio State's got some of the best recruiters in the country right now, with Larry Johnson, with Brian Hartline, with some of the other guys that have locked in national top 50, national top 20 guys. And those are the guys that you contend and win championships with. So to me, it's something that just perpetuates itself.